Welcome to the Peace Whimsy Co podcast, where you'll find your sparkle, embrace your peace, and discover a little magic for everyday self-care. I'm your host, Jessie Frances, and I'm so glad you're here. This is your cozy corner of the internet for compassionate living, creative rituals, and usually the wisdom that comes from embracing life's ups and downs, including chronic illness, big dreams, and everything in between. Why I chose this path about a year ago? I made the decision that changed my life, seriously. I left my job as a music teacher. It definitely wasn't easy. I mean, in all honesty, I'd say it was pretty darn terrifying. I've been working as a teacher for like 8 years. And I mean, I really, really loved it. I loved the kids, everything about it, just like it really was something that I was really passionate about, and I still am. But unfortunately, I do have a lot of health issues, and my health and my body had other plans for me. So living with Crohn's disease, fibromyalgia, IBD-associated arthritis, and all the crazy things that come along with that meant that I was on sick leave and feeling pretty damn horrible more often than I wanted. I mean, not that I would technically ever want to not feel good, but you know what I'm saying. So it's like, okay, I was just kind of stuck in this loop of doing the same thing, expecting different results. And you know what they say about that. It's like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That's like the definition of insanity. So considering the fact that this was something that was happening to me on a regular basis, there are moments where I need a walker to get around. And I mean, even now, like I haven't had to use the walker as much this past, I would say the past 6 months, but I do still really rely on my cane. Which is why I make sure to have fun canes. I'm just saying. Even if it's necessary, I want to keep it whimsical. I really do. So I have my one that's like a regular, just little black cane kind of thing, which I might decorate. I'm not totally decided against it yet. And then I have the other one that's more like my little Gandalf staff. Makes me feel like a bog witch. I'm happy. I'm good. I own it. And and all of that. But seriously, like realizing that this is something that's not going away. It's chronic. You know, a lot of people suggested, well, why don't you take early retirement, because of disability? And I do think that would have been a very valid choice. But it didn't feel like it was what was right for me at this particular time in my life. Deep down, I know that there's still so much that I want to do. I mean, creativity in one way or another has always been my lifeline when things are rough. I mean, it's been, whether it's been through like music, art, or planning, just not creating or being in periods of my life when I haven't taken the time for it. Like it literally drives me bonkers and is not good for my mental health. So I decided that it was time for me to become a solo entrepreneur. Okay, so that's just a statement to throw out there. Like it's just that easy. It was not as easy as being like, okay, I'm done. No, there was a lot of anxiety, I think, tied up in my identity as a music teacher and working with music and giving that up was really, really hard. And in a lot of ways, it felt like a failure. It felt like, okay, why can't I handle life the way that everybody else does? The way that everybody else seems to be chill with having a full-time job and going to work every day and just like kind of pushing through when things are hard. And it's like, no, girl, that's not how my body works. And that's also not necessarily how my mind works. Because I am somewhere on the spectrum. That's just how it is. Have it everywhere in my family. And I mean, I grew up undiagnosed. I still do not have, I have lots of diagnoses, but I do not have an ADHD diagnosis. diagnosis, whatever. I still don't actually have that because it's really, really difficult in Sweden, which is where I live, to get an ADHD diagnosis as an adult unless you go the private route and sink a lot of money into it. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think I really need it on paper. Everybody that knows me looks at me and goes, mm-hmm. Yep. And I know how to live with it. I know how to adapt around it. And to me, looking at myself through that lens explains a lot of the things that I've been through growing up and how I've viewed myself. Both of my children have ADHD and autism. I see a lot of myself in both of them in different ways. So having to take a step back and say, I can't do this anymore. This is not good for me, was really difficult. It was scary, and it was a lot of self-doubt. But I also knew I wanted to build a life and a business that worked for my health, that worked for me, one where I could thrive and not just pass, but like thrive and be good at what I do, because I'm pretty damn good at a lot of stuff. I just don't always give myself credit for it. And I think that's kind of how it is for a lot of us, right? So I wanted to share a lot of the stuff that I've learned along the way. So the birth of Peace and Whimsy Co. I've always been interested in psychology and life coaching. And it's probably because I know what it's like to struggle with self-image and self-esteem and wonder, why am I like this? Why do I work this way? And that meant that I wanted to look into it a little bit more. And it's the reason why I ended up going back to school, becoming a certified life coach, studying psychology. And now I work part-time instead as the school counselor. I still get to work with young people. I help them to navigate their own challenges. And teenage years can be horribly hard, like ridiculously hard. And it means so much to me. On the other side, I still need that creative outlet. And that's kind of where Peace and Whimsy Co. comes into the picture. It's where it was born. It all kind of started as an Etsy stop for stickers and planner goodies. But now it's grown into something much bigger. It's a space for self-care, for chronic illness, wisdom, I don't know. Sometimes I feel wise, sometimes not so much, but I mean, it's honest, and I want it to be a community where everybody belongs, where we are inclusive and everybody can feel like they have ownership of the community. So I rebranded from Calling Eve to Peace and Whimsy Co. because it just felt right. It felt like it kind of sums things up. I'm like, dude, peace and love. I need more peace in my life, but I also need that whimsy, So Peace and Whimsy Co. just kind of felt like it sums everything up. Everything that I want this business to be, cozy, magical, inclusive, and I mean, a bit mischievous, maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm a little bit nuts at times. And that's how I am, and that's how I like to be. So it's naturally going to be reflected in the way that things are with a business that I create and run. Whether it's through the stickers or planning tools, podcast episodes, or the YouTube vlogs that come up, or with the seasonal whimsy boxes, the subscription box that we recently started. My mission, I guess, is to help you find those little sparks of magic in everyday life. Like what to expect from each episode. Well, we'll explore practical self-care tools, creative rituals, like honest conversations about what it's like living with chronic illness, and the beauty of just embracing change, even when it's scary. I'll share my own stories, invite guests, and most importantly, I hope that we can build a community where your story matters too. If you're ready to find your sparkle and embrace your peace, make sure to subscribe and share your own self-care stories with me on Instagram or in the comments below if you want to stay updated on new episodes, products, or what's next with the Whimsy Box. Sign up for the Peace and Whimsy Co newsletter. Anyway, thank you for joining me for this very first episode of the Peace and Whimsy Co podcast. Remember, a little bit of whimsy can brighten every day. Cozy tools, creative hearts, and compassionate living. See you next time.